So, um, I, this is the Adamic Covenant, and the people in our group, it's Rayleigh, Joseph, Seth, Oscar, and me, Gavin. So, when it comes to a covenant, in Bible terms, it can be associated with both God and humanity. And it really just is a promise that goes both ways, in which it is set by God for ourselves. It's usually set with God's own will for humanity's well being to live a balanced, healthy lifestyle, and it will carry on throughout life. But it doesn't just have to relate to the Bible or any religious type of thing. It can also relate to any relationship, especially between two people, and we should reach an agreement. And the covenants in general are just really beautiful because they symbolize a strong commitment between humanity and just the willingness to show loyalty and trust and to stick with somebody throughout the hardest of challenges that life gives us. And just as I said in the previous slide, covenants are set or can be set by God's will. In the Adamic covenant, the two people that were involved, the two parties, Adam and God, and the Adamic covenant can be seen as a redemption, and I'll get to that later. I'll explain it. So, as we all know, Adam disobeyed God by eating the apple from the tree, even though God told him not to eat it from, and this caused sin, and this really triggered God's actions to curse all of man and animals. And the overall repercussions for his sin was bad. Like, it really caused a separation between his relationship with God, which would be the worst thing to happen, knowing that God was his own creator. He was like the first person to be born in the whole entire world. And not just that, but he was also born immortal, just like with Eve too. Adam and Eve were both born immortal. But since they sinned, they were demoted to being mortal humans, and they would eventually die. And this is really how original sin was brought into life. And it will be continued on no matter what, thanks to Adam and Eve's wrongdoing. And, just overall violence would arise as time would go on. However, despite this, a good example of how God reveals the Adamic covenant is through Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. It reads, "I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel." And through this, it was really a curse on the serpent to Adam and Eve when they were eating the apple. And through this covenant, Christ would eventually go through suffering, which is true since Jesus did go through a crucifixion and he was tortured by the Romans. And despite this, Christ would find redemption as he defeats Satan and the curse of death, and he would rise again, and he would die for our own sins, which we can really thank Jesus for. And is the Adamic covenant still operative today? And yes, because from the website micahsthird.com, it reads, "The Adamic covenant is what we can call the proto-evangelium, the first prediction of the good news to come, that someday a descendant of the woman will crush the power of evil. In the same ways as Adam and Eve have rejected God by their resounding no, another woman, which can be referred to as Mary, will give a wholehearted yes to God, and another man, or Christ, will sacrifice himself out of love for his bride, making all things new. And this is good because, or this is a sign of the operativeness, or or just showing that the Davidic covenant can still be portrayed today. Really emphasizes that through original sin, there's still hope and love in our world, and there's people who sacrifice and die for our own well-being, and we just can't do anything but just thank them for those actions they do. And we use this through our everyday lives, and we really devote ourselves to God and our faith. If you're a Catholic, it is right to spend every second, every day, just keeping in mind that God loves you and your faith is what strengthens you. So overall, is the Davidic covenant operative? Yes, it is. And yeah, so thank you for listening to the Davidic covenant.